Hey folks, so today I need to replace the bottle holder plate on my Orbea Rise. So I'm gonna show you really quick how to drop the EP8 motor, and hopefully it won't take long. Let me show you a couple of tools that you're gonna need for this. So, okay, so you're gonna need a torque wrench here for the motor bolts. This chain whip, I think it's called, to hold the cassette while you're using these two tools. This is a 16 notch used for the Shimano motor to remove it. Optionally, you can use this as well to use this torque wrench to tighten to 40 Newton meters. Otherwise, you can just use a normal bottom bracket tool, which is the 44mm 16 notch. We're gonna need some zip ties, cable cutter for the zip ties, the small Shimano tool that you get with your Orbea Rise to open the cables, remove the sensor cable and the other cable, the other Shimano cable that goes to controls. A couple of Allen keys, and that's pretty much it. Right, so this is the EP8 RS, but in fact it's actually the same motor with EP8, except that it has a different firmware, especially for Orbea Rise, which is the RS. So we're gonna need an Allen key size 5. Let's try with this one. We're gonna remove these two bolts here to remove the right crank arm. I think this one will be a little easier. And this bolt as well, which is the preload cap. This is tightened to 20 Newton meters. We're going to remove this all the way. And we should be able to remove this. Now, by the way, if you happen to remove this rubber, just remember to first put it on the crank. I think this prevents any water ingress going into the motor. So just make sure you put the plastic on the crank first, and then you slot it in. Don't just put it in there and then put the crank, because you're gonna mess up the torque specs for the preload cap, and this plastic is not gonna stay properly. Okay, so now after we remove the crank arm, we can go ahead and remove this 16 notch tool for the chainring. Right, so after removing the crank arm, we can go ahead and remove the chainring. So you have to remove it clockwise. There you go. Just pull it. So we're just going to remove a couple of bolts here. We're going to have to remove this bolt which is behind this chain guide. So 2 small bolts, and actually, yeah, let's remove that first. Okay, so that's size 3. Right, chain guide is removed. This was needed so that we can have access to this bolt here. Now let's remove this bolt. That's correct. All this the big one. Right, so we remove 3 bolts from this side, and we're going to remove the same 3 bolts from the other side as well. Now it will be probably wise to actually put a zip tie. I don't know, it's a pretty heavy bike, so I'm not sure if it's a little bit annoying. You have to pull the motor, so it's a little bit awkward. Oh. Looks like we're lucky, it's just gonna fall. So there's a spacer that fits just there. So we have a spacer here and 2 bushings here and on the other side. Now let's put the bike a little bit better. So what I'm doing is I'm just pulling it, and we got lucky, it came out really easy, but because I opened it a week ago. But normally you would pull it a little bit more. So you're gonna see these 2 cables that we're gonna have to remove, and this one as well. This comes from the battery, so you can just pull it, and we're going to use the Shimano tool for these 2 cables here. So you're going to see there is a little groove where you can actually insert this, and then you just lift it. That's one, and that's the second one. And this is your Shimano EP8 motor removed. Right, so for removing the battery you have 2 screws here. There's one, and the other one is there. You're gonna see the battery is just gonna slide this way. But just before you remove the battery, we have to remove this cage as well. Well, my bolt is actually size 3, might have a different bolt. And you can also do what I've done here is try and put a bigger washer, and if you use the original screws, yeah, don't use 5 Newton meters, what they recommend, because this is gonna strip very easily, you know, where you put the Allen key. So yeah, just replace the bolts with some, I think they're steel. Anyway, they're a little bit better. So yeah, just make sure you put washers. Now we have one more screw here. This one here. This is just holding the metal plate. And just focus. There we go. So yeah, right there in the middle. That's the screw holding the metal plate. Basically, this plate. Right. So in order to remove that plate, you remove the screw that holds the plate there beside the bottle cage. And now you have to remove these 2 screws. There's one screw here, one on the other side. It's a Torx. Then you unplug the battery, and then you can pull the battery, and after that you have enough space to remove the bottle plate. But also you have to remove the spacers as well in order to remove the battery. Hopefully you can see it. And yeah, there's an O-ring on this one, which apparently it broke, but I'm just gonna replace it. And there you go, this plastic just came loose, and then you unplug the battery. After you unplug that, you can easily slide the battery out. Now you remove the battery, you can just press on the plate, and this is the old plate. As you can see, the thread, I had a stock screw over there, so I had to drill it out. I used the screw extractor bit on both sides. On this side they worked. Anyway, I'm gonna just replace this.